JW is back at it here to give everyone another Walking Dead Season 10 early episode reaction video. But before I get into that, it's extremely important. I watched this episode early on AMC Premiere or AMC Plus. So I watched it early. If you're not caught up to the point where I am in rewatching or watching The Walking Dead, you need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode title, which of course I'll put in the description for you. If that's the case and you find out that you're not caught up, again, I watched this early on AMC Premiere. I suggested, so does everybody else, that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. This is going to be The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode number 20. Title of this episode is called Splinter. This is going to be my reaction review recap of the episode. It starts off where we left off with these characters, Eugene, Ezekiel, Yumiko, and Princess by the train cars. They're being captured, and at one point, Princess tries to take one of the Commonwealth troops, or stormtroopers if you want to call them that, tries to take one of their weapons, and she misses. And because of this, another Commonwealth troop actually takes their gun and clocks Yumiko with it, and essentially knocks her out, probably concusses her. I'm not exactly sure how the extent of her injuries because of that. But then after that, I'm guessing all of them are taken to their own separate train car. Definitely Princess, and Yumiko is actually put right next to her. At a certain point, Princess starts scratching the wall and like tearing out pieces. I should say scratching the wood and getting pieces of the wood off the wall so she can talk to Yumiko. And they start having a conversation. Princess is telling her kind of her backstory. Apparently, she was physically abused when she was I don't know exactly how old she was, but it was at the dinner table one night or something like that, and she got clocked right in the jaw, and that's something that she tells Himiko. And then shortly after that, Himiko is actually taken away somewhere as she stops responding to Princess. And then at a certain point later on, Princess actually is taken. First, she's taken to get examined. She's stripped down to her birthday suit, and some guy's examining her body. I'm guessing he's looking for bite marks or some sort of, mark that would show that she might be infected or is going to turn at some point, which they don't find. And then she's taken to this interrogation room by this guy that's asking her a lot of questions. And keep in mind, Princess just met our, Himiko, Eugene, and Ezekiel. She doesn't really know that much about them. So she's not really answering the questions. She wants to know if Himiko is all right. And this guy that's interrogating her, I don't know, it's not necessarily interrogation, but he's asking her questions. And he's like, answer the question. And he does mention she's all right, but he won't tell her anything else. And then eventually, Princess stands up and like gives him attitude. And then he gets up and like clocks her in the jaw, the same place apparently where she got hit by her stepdad in her younger years. And then after Princess is decked in the jaw, she's taken back to her train car, where she eventually, and this might be out of order, I can't remember where it is. I stopped taking notes at one point because I really didn't like this episode. She pulls a piece of, it's daytime now, and it's lighter in the train car. She can see that there's like a wood drywall essentially that's just pushed on or nailed into something. So she pulls that off, and she goes out this little hole, and right next to her is Eugene. So she talks to Eugene, we think, and I'll get more into that shortly here. And she has a conversation with him, and he's like, get back in there, these people are good. And I'm not really sure what to make of it. But eventually Princess goes back into the train car and covers up her hole with essentially the wood drywall that is nailed or was nailed into the wall. And at another point, King Ezekiel comes from the top of the train car into her train car. And they have a conversation. At one point, Ezekiel tells Princess, these are my friends. You don't even know them. And then he's like, look, I didn't mean to say that, actually. I made a mistake. And in times like this, we say mad things or something like that. And he has the conversation with Princess. He kind of gives her kind of some motivational stuff. And then somebody from the Commonwealth, one of their troops, comes into the train car and is going to give Princess some food. And then all of a sudden, Ezekiel knocks him senseless on the ground. and then they handcuff him and ask him questions. He seems pretty legit. He says he's a rookie. He says the gun isn't even loaded that he has. And then for some reason, Ezekiel starts beating the shit out of this guy. Like he chokes him and starts wailing on him with, hammer fists and hammer fists and hammer fists. And then we find, and Princess is trying to stop this. Like she's telling him to cut it out and knock it off and stop. And then after all that, we actually learn that Ezekiel isn't even there. And it's actually Princess doing all this damage to this troop of the Commonwealth. And Princess essentially has problems in an enclosed area. She's got hyperactivity. She's got post-traumatic stress disorder. She's got a lot of shit that fucks with her. And then she creates these illusions or something. It was explained in the episode. It's kind of thrown out of nowhere. I don't know if this was the original route they were going to go with Princess, but with these pandemic filmed episodes, they kind of had to be creative. But I don't know. It wasn't something I really wanted to see with Princess's character. But she ends up taking this guy's gun, and she leaves the train car, and she's about to leave the area where they are and crawl under a fence, and then she sees Ezekiel, and they have a conversation. It's basically like her stepdad, essentially, but not her stepdad. And she's like, you know what? These people are my friends. They'd come back for me. I will say that Princess did try to crawl under that fence to get away, but her gun was in the way, so it would catch when she did that. She could have just slid the gun underneath and left that way. But nonetheless, she decides to go back to the train car and have a conversation with this Commonwealth troop. And she talks to this guy. He's like, it's not all that bad. We're just very cautious. We do things because we have a much bigger community or a bigger group or whatever he said. And that we just have to be cautious. And that's why we do the things that we do. Just be calm and answer all the questions they have. And then eventually Princess is like, I don't know these people really. I just met them. They're my friends, but, I just met them. And eventually she gains this guy, or this character that we meet, and Princess actually kind of gains some trust from each other. Princess does unhandcuff him and actually gives him his rifle back. And she's like, am I going to see my friends? And he's like, yep, right now. And he opens the train car door, and there's a few people standing there with sacks essentially covering their head. And that's how the episode ends. So I did not like this episode. I think I wasn't expecting this from Princess, and that's probably why. Or with me late at night, my nose itches and my eye, my right eye especially, bothers me when I record videos. I don't know why that happens. But anyway, I did not like it. I thought this was one of the worst episodes of The Walking Dead. And I understand they're filming this during a pandemic. They had to be a little different with the way that things were done. I just didn't enjoy it at all. I don't know if it's the worst episode, but that Tara episode from season 7, Swear, is pretty bad. Still from season 4 is bad, but I watched it again recently and it wasn't that bad, but it was still annoying. And then of course we have, other episodes, but this one, I don't think I'll ever watch this episode again. If I rewatch The Walking Dead again, I won't watch that episode. I just didn't enjoy it. I was confused I don't know what was real and what wasn't. I don't know if Princess was actually talking to Eugene. I don't know if Himiko was actually in that other train car. And it doesn't appear that Ezekiel was really in the episode, even though he was. It was just her imagining him. I did like the guy that was interrogating, if you call it interrogation, Princess. But even that, he wasn't in there long. And the guy that Princess attacked, he seemed cool. I don't know if he's going to play a major role in the story going forward, but he seemed pretty cool. So as far as the score of the episode, I'm going to give it a little bit higher a score just because they filmed these episodes during a pandemic and they were limited in what they could do. I'm going to give it a 6.0 out of 10. Realistically, I wanted to give it a 5.1 or 5.2, but I'll give it a 6. Well, I could give the character of the episode to that soldier that Princess beat up, but I didn't know his name. I'll give the character of the episode to Princess because that's really all we got in this episode. A lot of Princess. learned more about her, but things that I didn't expect. That's for sure. It'll be interesting to see where they go with that whole arc with only 24, well, plus the 2 left in this season, 26 episodes, how they're going to explain everything. So you've heard what I have to say. I'm sorry if you disagree with me, but hey, it's my opinion. If you're a fan of The Walking Dead and you like this particular episode, Splinter, go ahead and smash that like button. If you didn't like it, go ahead and thumb down the video as well, or not like, whatever you want to call it. Or if you're just a fan of The Walking Dead, but this episode, it wasn't the best, but you still like the series, smash the like button. If you know anybody that you think would be interested in this, go ahead and share the video to them. Don't forget to leave me a lot of comments. Tell me what your thoughts are. Tell me if you like the episode or not. And of course, last but certainly not least, I say this every time, don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.